Now we're into Primal Winds. Ghosts with the most. Oh yeah, we just listened to this.
Are you a ghost too?
Yeah, Primal Winds is District Prime and Iron Wind.
And I remember being so hype initially for this. Because I'm like, a Beetlejuice track? I didn't even think about that. And then...
Yeah, this comes in hella strong.
Good, just like 4 on the floor, drumline to all that busyness, which was the right choice.
Yeah.
I like the chorus. I don't love it. I like the first line that comes in on it.
Yeah.
I would have written that delivery one more time. So have that be the bar 1 and bar 3 of the chorus. Not the same line, but just like that exact delivery, that exact swing.
Yeah.
And I think that would have turned the chorus from me being like, this is pretty good, to this is a dope fucking rap hook. But this song does not suck. This is actually, like,
Yeah,
we were
this is
listening to it earlier, and I didn't like it as much earlier, but now that I'm listening to it now again, I'm like, it goes.
It does.
It's not bad. It's like a 6 or a 7. So 7 out of 10. What's the audience give it, Shubs?
Audience has given it an 8.35
Okay, that makes sense. I think it goes pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm meaner because I want the chorus to be pitch perfect. I want intros and outros to be pitch fucking perfect. Mm-hmm. I want the MC to come in right every time, to the mood of it. And that's I don't think it quite does this in this song, but I think it's a 7 out of 10. I would, for someone that wondered kind of like what nerdcore could be that other genres, subgenres, and scenes of hip-hop don't do,
Yeah.
this would be a good example of it, because I'm like, here's a movie soundtrack song that's flipped, and it's flipped very obviously and very bluntly, and it works, and it's about Beetlejuice. And so I think if I was going to a non-rap fan, a person who wasn't against hip-hop, just was never really into it, and I was like, here's how nerdcore can be a little different from that. All right, next track is from RockRow, and that is Night of the Mask. Okay, RockRow. How's the intro doing? When the intro's too long, it's been 45 seconds. It's too long. I don't know if you knew this, Shubs, but savages rhymes with cabbages.
Oh.
It does. It B rhymes with it.
Thank you.
I like this. The MC is spitting. Who is the MC in RockRow again?
RockRow, we've got Angry Crow as an MC, and then Rhyme Artist as a producer.
This is pretty good. It feels very classic. Like, it feels like someone's just cutting it on like a drum machine, or like a machine, or a MPC.
Yeah.
Like, it's all hits, kind of.
Yeah. Wow.
Ooh, that was nice. So this is a Steve thing. I would have added a second vocal harmony to this. I like the chorus main melody, but I would have done that or worked on the production to really thicken up that vocal if you were going to just have it be one. I think the second verse is good. I think the MC could be doing a little bit more here. A little faster. Like, work in and out the little speed patterns like you did toward the end of the first verse. This really relies on the vocalist. The producer's really putting a lot of this on the vocalist, cutting a lot of the song out, just drums and raps. And this MC is doing well, but I don't think they produced the vocals thickly enough for that. So adding the dubs and the harmony would have masked that a bit more. Don't be afraid to dub your own verse. But I like this chorus. Now, this is a good song. 7, 8. What do you think, Shubs?
Let's see.
What's the audience think?
What's the audience put this
Sometimes I
as?
don't care what they think, but right now I do because I don't have my notes.
6.7.
I would give this a 7. I don't know if I'd give it an 8, but I would
Solid.
give it a 7.
That's solid.
I've had some notes, for a little too many notes, and again, I don't think the production, not so much the beat, but just like the production overall of the track, I think could have been tweaked up quite a bit.
Yep.
Sailor Doom.
Sailor Doom is Twill
Twill.
Distilled and Johnny Hackenslash.
Twill and Johnny know how to put a track together, construction-wise, to kind of keep it moving. I love every time Twill loosens up her voice and gets real, like, fucking screamy and weird like that. And I like the chorus and the singing all right, but personally, I'm not a fan of the vocal range she's trying to do here, and the style of singing doesn't appeal to me as much. Yeah, they're still cooking.
Yeah.
I think this part of the chorus, which is new wave as shit, makes me so happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I fucks with the hook.
And eventually, and this is a bit of a divide, but eventually, because it's dangerous to run with this, the fall off the chorus, this like snap, fucking big room, echoey, and then the wind down on it, just so good into the second verse. The third verse is rapping, and it's this real positive, like kind of bubbly hip hop style against a kind of like a uncanny valley discordant production, and then again loosens up sometimes and goes into that. And I think that really added to the strength of the variety of the song, but it also edges. Some people just don't like that style of rapping, and if they don't like it, it's gonna kill it for them. So it's a hit miss.
And it depends on the ears that.
Yeah, it's fully dependent on the ears. I gave this an 8 out of 10. I would still listen to it on a mix. I would probably love it live.
8.34.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think that's a real good score for it. I don't know how I would make this song better that wasn't a taste choice for me. And I think that's what I like about fucking Sailor Doom, is that I always think in terms of like, how would I construct the song better? How would I make it a stronger overall track? And beside my general, like, watch your intros, watch your outros, I think this song does a good job.
Yeah, it knocks.
So good work, and another strong performance from Sailor Doom, keeping themselves up in the top 10 kind of teams, voting-wise, I think. This is Saints of San Secuestro. Curiosity Killed the VPC. I love the concept of this song.
San Secuestro is Yugen and Max James.
Yeah, I like the beat on this.
Yeah, it's tight. It's tight.
It's got a good bouncy swing to it. The MC is that takes advantage with the MC. I think.
It's giving me Frontalot's First World Problems vibe.
Yeah, without the super disjointed flow.
Yeah.
It's got much more of just a casual.
Yeah.
I like this part.
Same.
Dropping everything, doing the vocal work, the vocal production, just killing it.
Yeah.
And this does not go too long for me, this piece. I think it's because it's so different tonally than the casual delivery of the verse.
Yeah.
And I think by dropping all the instrumentation, it doesn't then become problematic against the rest of the beat. They just had the drums. I do think it's time to speed up, slow down rap. And do some just up down tricks. Because you did this all through the first verse. And so by just repeating the same sort of like exact mechanic on the second verse, not that I don't do that. I absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Every songwriter does that. But it's not overly long. I don't think it over stresses it.
Nah.
So it's a good song. To me, this is a 7 or an 8.
Audience has it as a 7.16.
Yeah. So it's a 7 or an 8. I actually really like it. It goes on a bit long. but I really like this, like, or it doesn't go on a bit long, but I like this synth, kind of like, it's almost like a very classic old school song lead, where there's not singing in the verse, but it feels like the synth sort of like rhythmically goes as a rapper.
Yeah, it takes the place of that.
I think if you faded it out about here and let it kind of die out, almost Hotel California style, where the lead just kind of goes, then I would have probably moved this to an 8. But I think it's a 7. I don't think you needed to come back into the hook, even though I like the hook for the last one. This is SirTet. Come on down.
SirTet is huge, and accidental.
Yeah. This is huge.
Yeah.
I think this is okay, but it's that kind of slow delivery over enunciation rap. Talking about kind of has that old early nerdcore feel.
Yeah,
The mix isn't great. Yeah, this chorus is not helping the song. This really knocked it down for me. I remember not liking that. I think to make the vocals better, just bring them into the beat a bit more. I remember liking that the producer went with that dun 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 dun, which I'm sure everyone that has been a musician for as long as I have would know the classical piece or the score piece that I'm talking about. But yeah, I think this is this could have been a better song with some more production.
Yeah.
You don't have to announce this hard as an MC. You just don't.
No.
Yeah, the over-enunciation is a little too much. You need to be clear. No need to mumble. But also no need to hit every line exactly in this style, where you just really hit the front and end of words. You add too much serif to the front and end of words, and it makes it more disjointed. And the chorus isn't great. I don't know, 6 out of 10? What's the audience think?
Audience gives this an 8 out of 10.
The audience is wrong. This is a 6 out of 10. You're wrong. I almost cut it. 5+ minute song. Absolute terrible choice. Alright, this next one is Sleeping Dragon, Symphony of Lost Sounds. This is Tia and whoever Tia's working with, which we will find out in a moment.
So this is Prowess the Testament and Technology.
Prowess the Testament and what?
Technology.
Technology?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna disclaimer this right now. I will never be as good as Prowess on the mic. I just won't. I could never catch up, nor I would be grateful if in 10 years I was this good. Prowess is probably one of the best first flowing rappers out there. That being said, and the second verse does not have this problem. The first verse has that thing where the beat goes and you just kind of spit over it and you're in rhythm with it. You're on beat, you're on time with it, but you're not like leaned into the rhythm of the beat exactly, and you're a little bit looser on it. And since she does it for the full first verse, it's not my favorite thing. It is a thing though. It's not. I'm not like, and this isn't like Dappersaurus where they tend to like go way off. This interlude that wants to be a chorus. Prowess is singing great. I like the production on the vocals, and I like the obviously the Castlevania a sample. But I think using the game sample rather than finding a cover of it that's right in the rough, accurate BPM and doing it kind of hurt them on this. And it's only because the game sample works fine in the verse, but it's because it's kind of a slower, yearning singing, and that game sample is cuts and comes in like mechanically, so it's got its own rhythm against the beat, and I don't think they go well together. Not melodically, they're fine. Production wise, the mix is fine. I think it would have been better to find like a piano piece that just does that, and then ride that, or like a classical instrument. But verse 2 is just gold through the whole thing. I don't see anyone reasonably giving this below a 7. In my mind, it's like an 8. What is it fan-wise? The fan base better not have given the last one an 8 and this one below that.
7.89.
7.8. Okay, so 7.8. I think that's right. What do we have for Q&A? Is it still just the one from Celine? Because that's fine.
So yeah, there's 2 actually.
There's two. 2 whole Q&As.
2 whole Q&As that I now have to kill the lights for. So the first one.
They can still see me on your feed.
They can.
That alabaster. It's reflected. It's reflected whatever light it can get.
Let's see. So the first question is brought to us by Celine T. When are you coming to Colorado?
So I used to live in Denver, but back when it was real bad. You know, the bad times in Denver. No, I used to live in Denver back when it was 2002 to 2003, back then. And I lived there for like 6-8 months, and then I moved back to Seattle. I liked Colorado. It's a beautiful state. When I do chain up Shubzilla and drag her with me and Bill Beats on tour, I absolutely want to do a stop in Colorado. Yeah. So I think that's that. And obviously, I will be thirstier than I normally am for Celine to help me out there. And so that'll honestly be coming sometime in 2020. I will do the booking and everything like that. It won't be early 2020, not first quarter, probably not even second quarter, but third or fourth quarter 2020. I will be coming down that way, either for tour or convention. And what's the other one?
Let's see here. This next question is brought to us by Sean S. What's your favorite track that mentions tomatoes?
I don't know. I'm sure you might want to mention you might want to say your track. If it mentioned tomatoes. I didn't read the lyrics, so I don't know which tracks mention tomatoes. So I'm going to say Songbotco, because I'm fucking standing for Songbotco. We haven't even gotten to that part in the 2 Yoked Bros or live stream review. I don't give a shit. Songbotco for life. Screw you. You know what? Your track was good, but it was only a 7 out of 10 on tomatoes. It could have been an 8 or 9. That might not be your fault, Sean. It might be Desh's fault. But yeah, Songbotco, a best tomato reference in it, 10 out of 10. Winner of the VPCs already. In my heart. So all day, Songbotco. Sean, you're a wonderful person and a great producer. Desh, you're like 80 times the talent I could ever be. But that's it for 2 Yoked Bros Part 1. 2 Yoked Bros Part 2 will be coming up. I'm sure that will be confusing because I'm sure I won't cut the video here, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hello.
Yeah. Thanks, fair. So you're going to be playing one of your new songs today. Which one is it going to be?
I'm going to turn this down a bit.
We're going to play new song.
Hi. Welcome back to 2 Yoked Bros. We changed outfits, changed location, changed. I think we're in the opposite sides of the shot at this point.
We are.
We have not changed beanies though.
We have not.
We are all Crunkwich. Yeah.
Beanie.
All Crunkwich all the time. This is some of B-Type, Murder on the Radio. I remember my notes for this song because it starts with this chorus. The chorus is obviously supposed to be inspired by like a punk band. That's super obvious, which is cool.
Nice.
That's cool,
It's different.
There's ties with punk and hip hop. That's cool. You can do a lot with that. On the flip side, it's a terribly done chorus, so that's not great.
No.
I think when you're doing a chorus like this, and you're obviously inspired by like Offspring and everything, just hide the background.
Yeah.
When you're doing that, if you don't do that kind of high-pitched wailing that the Offspring was doing, then you have to do something else in the production or do something else. If you don't have the right tool for the job, don't try to do the job. It's punk, so you don't have to sing particularly on key, but like adjust it. Go Bad Religion, take it down an octave. Nonetheless, the song concept is clever. The verse is a little slow
That
with the whoa
thing, like, I think if they like really like whole hog like went in on that, it would punch better.
Yeah, in my head, I just hear Dexter from The Offspring. In my head, I just hear Dexter from The Offspring, belting out the woes. I'm sure they do too. I'm like, it's not a subtle effort.
Yeah.
The verse is a little stilted. It's a little bit slow. The lead guitar on this.
I'm with this.
The lead guitar on this is a top note.
Yeah.
On it. I really think this is a fine song, but I think it's like almost like a underhanded lob of an effort. You put together a very passable, very listenable funk beat or punk beat, and punk song. You did not try, but I feel like you didn't sit in there and master it and be like, yeah, but is this good to listen to? Separately from what kind of clever trick we're playing or fun we're having, is it enjoyable to listen to? The Crow agrees.
Crow's about it, but then the Crow flew away.
No,
they're still there.
No, they're still there.
Yeah, they're still there. So special guest judge, the crow that lives in the tree. By
special
my
judge, the thirsty Gen X alternative nerds that just want the crow mentioned all the time.
Right. Like you fucking dicks.
Nonetheless, overall, it's an okay song. I have not looked to see what the fan thing is.
Oh yeah.
But my mind gives this song like a 6 out of 10. It's mostly the chorus that falls flat. That almost pushes it down to a 5 for me. But I don't hate the idea of it. I just hate the execution.
Yeah,
so
that's
the idea is
fair.
solid, and because of that, if you're looking to punch up the verses, change up the speed of your flow a little bit, double time it a little bit, do some more obvious tricks, and then change up the drumming and guitar work a lot through the verse. If you're using live instruments, let it journey with the verse a bit more progressively than say punk would normally do.
Yeah, 6.41.
6.41. So I'm in line with this. 6
Yeah.
out of 10. Sometimes I feel good about feeling like I'm being a little too mean, and I'm only just like half a point under the audience. I'm like, okay, I'm not a monster yet. But, it's an okay song. Speaking of favorites, a new favorite that I have.
Ah, yes.
I might have mentioned them in some other songs.
You may have. Is that shady, though, to, like, mention other teams and other people?
No, because it's honest. I'm not a judge. If I was a judge, I'd have all these rules about how I act with the... I'd be more fair. I'd have, like, a system that I would show and be transparent about it.
I would, too, but I would have, like, an off-the-record part of, like, I'm not sad that you've put this out here. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I know, right.
And, like, maybe we'll talk about it.
Honestly,
maybe I'll message you. But
honestly, I'm pretty sure if I was a judge, my scores would be even lower. But
your scores would be lower. Wait, weren't you a judge? No.
I was a judge one of the years, yeah. I was the mean judge.
You were the mean judge.
Yeah, I had the lowest scores on average.
People had feelings about that, and I'm just like, it's Steve fucking Perry Kelsey. Like, what do you expect? Like,
well, they expect me to, because they get the jovial part, but unless you're like around me a lot, you don't get the bully part. They get the happy-go-lucky, and they forget that I'm like
hypercritical.
I'm hypercritical because I was raised Catholic. It's what I was raised to be.
It's what we do.
Private schools, Catholic school, private Catholic schools.
You get what you get.
Like obviously, I don't
later.
take that own criticism into myself and develop me, but also a part of the church. So anyway. Moving on,
Vatican 3. Okay.
Hashtag Vatican 3. Yeah. Moving on, Songbotco. Bay. I'm just gonna tell you this right out the gate. I love their last round. This round delivers on all of the promise of the last round.
And again, Songbotco is Chris Songco and Mozart Bound Robot.
Yep. Jesus, this is a good song. This is the song. This is a song that I would show people regardless of nerdcore. I'd be like, you need to get into this Songbotco team. This is one of those songs that like gives me hope. That it gives me hope that people that I don't know every year will surprise me at a VPC, because it's not that other team. One Up Funk is killing it. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
But this is another team where it's just like, I'm gonna admit it. I didn't know who you were. I didn't follow your music. I am 100% stan all day, Songbotco. This chorus, the verse delivery.
I like all the layers that go with it. So, like...
The production on it is so good.
So, like, I can't remember which one it was last night that I mentioned, where I think the chorus, the hook needs to be bumped up a little bit so it's louder, it punches more, and Bay is one of those tracks that does that.
Yeah, it does it. It punches it up without it being overly loud. It feels right with the beat. The follow-up on the chorus, the change-ups, the song is never at rest. It's always moving.
Yeah, that was my next thing.
It's so hard to do that. That takes work. It takes time. It takes like the little tweaks over days and good cooperation. Or the producer for Songbotco
Mozart
von Robot. Is also a good producer. He's a good producer.
Yeah.
We know him.
So
if that just comes naturally to you, fuck, more power to you.
Lord bless you.
Yeah.
If
If you're just Bob Rossing masterpieces, you're just like, oh yeah, just do a little bit here and here's some fucking butter knife, and then bam, it's a fucking beautiful snowy scene.
Yeah. Let me paint you a happy little motherfucking tree by way of distortion. I'm here for it.
But yeah, it's so good. This is after 5 to 7 listens. This is my 10 out of 10 track this round.
Word. The audience gave this a 7.46 out of 10.
The audience is wrong.
Yeah, y'all hating, but that's fine. That's fine. Just know that that's noted, and I see you.
Yeah. You're all wrong. If you're not recognizing how this is one of those perfect marriages of an artist that is kind of pushing, or a pair of artists that are sort of pushing the boundaries of like fun pop, electronic, almost laptop music, and hip hop in a way that doesn't disrespect or clash with either. Like, it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to do, like, digital chippy glitch music hip hop and have it sound fun and fresh and not just like a tired gimmick for one song.
Right.
And they've done it for 2, and they did it better the second round, so I'm very excited for the third.
Word.
We are on Soundproof Mixtape Man.
Yep, this is Mark Cooper and Darnell McConnell.
Okay, Mark Cooper can rap.
Yeah.
That was clear round 1. It's going to be clear round 2. We're going to see if the mix works, and if there might be some choices I disagree with. But to be clear, Mark Cooper can make words go on the microphone in the right direction. The chorus on this is going to come in. Right. I love auto-tuning used as a trick on pieces of verse work. I don't think it works for a whole verse, but I think it works how they did it here, where it's just an added piece of interest. And if I remember correctly, yeah. Especially if you go over 16 on a verse, adding those tricks is crucial. I also like how the producer brought in those vocals, that choir vocal at the background. But yeah, and then the auto-tuning comes back in on the singing. It feels comfortable because you've already given my ear a taste of it earlier. So you've acclimated me to something that's happening. That's not pop music. That's classic composition structure. You give a taste of what's coming up. But yeah, transition in the second chorus, a little bit rough. Or second verse, a little bit rough. Not like song breaking. I'm just looking for things to criticize. This is a grooving beat, and especially hard when you're working out of a sound kit that's not necessarily your own, not your own artistic instinct. So props to the producer. I also love the theme for this. I can appreciate it. No, there's just something just listenable about a song like this, where you just have it on a mix, and you're just like, and it closes out nicely. Probably could have faded out right about here. I don't think it needs it.
You can hear that. This is your mixtape. Yeah, it's fire. Go download it.
I get the little like jokey end piece, but I don't think it was super necessary. This was a good track. I want to give it an 8 out of 10. That's where my mind puts it. A solid 8. There's not a lot to critique about it.
No, and
the audience has to have it at 8 or 9. Yeah,
8.4.
Yeah, there's not a lot. This could be a 9 on the right day. Like if I'm listening to this while working. Crow agrees with the 9 out of 10. So yeah. Great job, Soundproof. Great second round. All right, next one is Spandex Moose, a sexy Halloween good gravy.
Yep, and Spandex Moose is eloquent and happy. Really glad to see Happy in this competition.
I believe Happy was the person. Was Happy the person I was against in the Master Debaters tour?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
That's a throw.
This wind-up trick is super difficult to do as a producer and MC. It's difficult to do and make it sound comfortable, and I think they do that. Also, I think they sound better when they rap fast. I'm a white kid from the suburbs, so I love my fast raps, but I think they sound better when they rap fast. This episode of VPC, Two Yoked Rows VPC Reviews continues to be brought to you by Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen. Blizzards stay frozen until 5 minutes later.
Dairy Queen. It's definitely better than McDonald's.
Dairy
Probably.
Queen. If you want a hot dog, sure.
Dairy Queen. Chicken and waffles now.
Really?
Yeah, they have chicken and waffles at Dairy Queen. I'm
I'm
curious.
suspicious about it. No, I'm suspicious. I don't think I would get that.
I'm going to get it the next time. Yeah, this is just super clean. And then the wind down is real nice. It's a real symmetrical song. It's a nice tight piece. I don't love the chorus. I don't hate it. I just don't love it. I don't know what I would do to it to make it better, so it might just be a taste thing. It just, I feel like there's some good acrobatics on the verse, and then the chorus is kind of a down step. I don't have a lot of edits for this one. The verse is sort of a nice trick, and it actually is very pleasant because you're pretty good at spitting fast. I think I like it more than the slow parts. I think the chorus is a little jarring, almost because it seems like it steps out of the talent trick a little bit. But again, I don't really know how I'd edit it. I give this a 7 out of 10. I'm sure I'm a little high on this. I just respect the effort.
6.54.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit on the high side out of this. I respect the effort of doing that kind of like wind up, slow down thing. I like that it's short. I don't think you go too long on the track for something, or shorter. You don't go too long on the track for something that's more like a spectacle move for the MC.
Next, Team Kokoro.
Yeah, Team Kokoro, and this Team Kokoro is Robo-Rob and
None Like Joshua.
None Like Joshua. They murdered their first round.
Yeah.
They did a really good job in their first round. And yeah, I really like how this all comes in.
Yeah.
You got the Discord music box, right? You got the Edgar Allan Poe reference. And then you quickly, I mean, no one's surprised Robo-Rob's quickly going to do shit with the beat. He's not going to sit on it for very long.
Yeah, there's always going to be movement with the Robo-Rob beat.
Yeah. And then, like, the distortion, the grime that they put on the drum work really works. Sort of warms you up for a hook, and then it almost cuts away from it, but it does a good job with the beat, kind of like building into that bridge And then it goes like full rowdy dubstep. None like what Joshua, and I talked about this on the last one. I don't know if, like, how closely they've worked in the past. I have to assume they've worked together in the past enough. They sound right together as a duo. Rob doesn't make beats that don't demand the MC to do shit. The MC has to keep up with what Rob's decided to do, beat-wise. And then I'm pretty sure in this case, based off how Chelsea's songs sound, that he then does work afterward. Or none like Joshua is just really good at delivering exactly what the piece needs. It's super busy, but the energy's up, the mix is right. The way they do the Wi-Fi's out, so that instead of it being the high pitch of the vocalist, it's the nice, drop down that blends it.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those great call and responses.
Yeah. Yeah, and then good call and response. Another track you'd like to see live. The third verse change up, where it's like real smooth and kind of half sung.
Yeah.
This is easy. To me it's a strong follow up to a very strong round one, and it makes them an early contender for first place.
Yeah.
And then this excellent noise thing. The song's a little over 3 minutes. Yeah, a little 3 minutes and 11 seconds. So the song's real tight. It just all goes together. No edits for this song. I have no ability. It's beyond me to think of how I would necessarily be like, you could have done this to improve it.
Yeah, good job.
The only commentary I would have is that I'm sure there are some people out there that feel like it's too busy, it's too noisy, you can't get in front with the lyrics. But I didn't have a problem with None Like Joshua, hearing and understanding None Like Joshua, so that didn't apply to me. But I am positive, there's certain people that just don't like a cluttered track. I'm not one of those people. Yeah. And so for me, probably 9 out of 10. Maybe on the live, probably 10 out of 10. If they could pull that off live, that's a 10 out of 10 song. 9 out of 10.
I'm sure they can. 8 out of 10.
I'd give that a 9.
8.14.
Yeah, I'd give that a 9.
Or
apparently the blizzard is putting me in a good positive mood.
Dairy Queen.
I'm Dairy Queen. It'll get you an extra point from Steve during the VPC. My point matters not at all to them, but I'm sure Rob's waiting with bated breath for Robo Rob. If there's anything I know about Robo Rob, it's not only does he just love all criticism, he especially loves it from people he doesn't give a shit about, like me. So I'm sure Robo Rob's waiting. But yeah, 9 out of 10. Great work. Teen Titans Game of Horror. Sort of that horror movie. Piano. DJ Khaled.
I mean, it calls for it.
Pretty simple on the drums. They don't do a lot of production on the drums to make them sound different than the straight up sample. At least I can't hear it through the laptop, and I couldn't hear it through the better speaker system I listened to on the drums. I remember that was a note for the song. I like the MC.
Let's see here. Team Titans. I believe this is
Who's in
this team. So yeah, Nightwing and Jared J-Rod Brown.
Yeah. This is about the time where I, as a listener, am prepared. I'm prepared for right here, probably, for a hook to come in. A chorus to come in.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking it would do the same thing the last track did with Team Kokoro, where it was like, oh, it's the 16, you think it's going to come in, but then we drop out stuff and kind of bridge you into it with just rap verse, but it doesn't. And so now my brain's looking for this. I'm beginning to pay less attention to the lyrics as well.
Yeah.
I'm also feeling whereas because there's no interlude or chorus here, I'm beginning to feel that the verse is being samey, right? The rapping is being samey. there's changes, but it's not really shifting. It's not doing like C changes in how the rap is delivered. This feels like a chorus, and if this showed up earlier in the song and I was talking over it and didn't notice it the first 2 times I listened to it, then it's not standing out enough. But the outro, like the last 4 bars, seem like a decent rap chorus.
Yeah.
The wind down is fine. The song is fairly tight as far as like it clocks in at under 3 minutes, which is good because it doesn't really have a big interlude or hook or change up in it. But like, I don't know, it's a good song, but it's not something that I'm gonna ever probably listen to after today, which means it's probably a 6 out of 10.
Let's see what the audience has it at. They have it at a 7.22 out of 10.
Yeah, and again, no surprise from anyone that's listened to me about hooks. So there you go.
Next is Thot Team Epic.
Next track is Thot Team Epic. This is Hella and Kleistron, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No intro. That song comes in like a song comes in. So I will give them a point for that. This is one of those what I call 2/3 rap verses, where it's like they rap 2/3 of the line and then keep that space for the sound or the hype piece. They're fun. If I recall correctly, they don't change that up though in the second verse, and that's where I want to see them MC tricks. I feel like 4, maybe 8 bars of that, and then start diverging from it. The mix is better on this round, as many have noted, and as Ultra Kleistron knew himself. Mix is better. Song's good. It does a lot of little like sound tricks and everything because it leaves that open in the verse to do that. I love like a hat that sounds like a giant park sprinkler. You know those old like sprinklers that used to like shut or chop the water. I like a hat that sounds like that, and so I call it give me them sprinklers, and I like that. Production wise, it was good. It was samey. I feel like there wasn't as much difference between the verse and the chorus as I would have liked, and the delivery was pretty similar from the MC through the song on it. It's a short song, so it doesn't get like to the point of exhausting for me, but it means that where I'm looking for something to stand out in the competition, I'm not getting that. So that's going to be a 6 or a 7. I'm going to guess the audience puts it at a 6 point something.
Solid 6.
Okay, yeah, my brain was like 6. And that's just because there weren't enough tricks in it. There wasn't enough like surprise this thing. There wasn't like a speed rap portion. There wasn't like a weird sing hype or something like that to kind of add it. And so that's really all that needs is just you take it again and you're like, okay, what can we do to this to kind of flare it up? This is Whack in with the Rain.
Whack is Only One Ronin and Elias Olegio. I apologize if I most likely fucked that.
Elias Olegio? Elias Olegio? I don't know. So the MC is too far out front in the song, in the mix. So, as a person that drags words around, the beat needs to want that, or something in the melody or in the beat needs to want that to happen, or else it feels like you're just filling a space rather than using a word, and it feels like you could have edited that track. I make these mistakes a lot, especially if I just kind of free write the song. This, on the other hand, is the first, I think, straight up example of doing a song that's just verse, it's just spitting, and doing it in the right amount of time. That had to be less than
That was like a min 44. I think.
Yeah, it had to be less than 90 seconds of rapping.
Yeah.
So like at no point was I like, where's the fucking chorus on this?
Yeah.
It just finishes tightly.
Yeah.
I think the MC's good here at rapping, but I don't think that they're great at keeping interest. I think this needed to be edited more. Maybe there wasn't enough time, and it needed to be, when you're doing those straight verses, and I'm actually going to edit it or change it up what I normally do. When you're doing something without a chorus or an intro, and you're doing like 90 seconds of rap, you're doing maybe 24 bars, maybe 32, but it's fairly fast. It's got to be some real fucking fire bars. Nobody's listening to those for just easy rhythms that you could listen to on endless verse chorus songs. So like, I want to hear those fire bars. I would probably give this either a 6 or a 7.
This is a 7.98 from the audience.
Yeah, I think that's a little high, honestly. I think it's, if I were predicting this, I'd say it's like a 6 to a 6.5. And it's mostly the vocal mix down into the beat not doing a whole hell of a lot, and then the rapper not really flexing some verse play. And so when you make a choice to do a 90-second song, that's part of the responsibility. Just like an instrumental band needs to make up for the fact that they don't have a vocalist, or an a cappella group needs to have someone beatbox because you probably want percussion. It's missing something when you don't really flex on the mic skill set wise and do a bunch of tricks if you're just doing just straight verse. Boom. Next track. This would be White Hippy. Yeah, White Hippy, Dead by Daylight. Great game. I liked the low end production on this. I think it goes well with the MC's voice. Producers, when you're making beats for an MC, especially if you've already done a round and you've gone back and you've listened to what they rap, get an idea for what kind of tone of voice they can have and what you can produce around that. If somebody's got like a real even, kind of like strong voice, you can get darker or doomier and not have to worry that they're not going to be able to match it. And I think White Hippy does a good job at mixing both. Yeah, I remember this chorus. I like that chorus. It's a little jarring in the verse, but with a little connective tissue production, maybe a warm-up on the last 4 bars of the verse to get that kind of even tone that's slightly more singy, hypes kind of slide in and slowly build in the verse. That might blend it well if you're looking to blend it vocally. Production-wise, you could do some stunts with drums and drops too, with kicks and drops. I would have dubbed up the nose and the yes. This is a little better. You want to get those vocals kind of blending into the verse a little bit more. But I would have dubbed up the no's and yeses. I think this is a good overall horror song. I would have doubled the last chorus actually on this one. This is one of the rare ones where I would have added a bit more to the song. I would have probably doubled the last chorus. I think this is a good track. It's certainly a great round 2 in the mix of round 2 tracks. I would give this either like a 7 or an 8. It looks like from the group it has a 6.78. Yeah, I can see 7 or 8. It's a little straightforward. It doesn't have a lot of like tricks to it, but you've got a solid MC delivery and a solid like bones for bass, so probably a 7 out of 10 for me on this one. And then next time just kind of do more tricks with it. That's what I'm thinking. We got XO Plus, Childhood Home.
Word.
I was not kind to XO Plus the last time.
Word. Oh.
Nice like Simpsons Halloween horror.
Yeah, very.
Kind of intro. So what I like about this track versus the last round from them is that I don't feel like the beat and the MC are in contradiction. XOC sort of has the way that they rap.
Yeah.
The tone comes down a little bit in this one. Like rides it down a little bit, but tends to have a fair amount of energy and importance in their voice. And so the beat cannot be, they don't blend well with just like an easy times, an easy summer beat, because they feel like they're over energy on. But I think this one does better. I love the theme for this, by the way.
Yes.
I don't know if you well, obviously you listen to it, but like, you really gave that theme a listen. This is a fucking heart-wrenching. I think right here is where I would have really played with the drums to kind of let it ride on XOC's verse, but like really create some percussive interest to kind of change them up, not BPM wise of course, but like added some width to the kick, take it out the hats, maybe just do some vocal effects. I think that would have enhanced the second verse, or the second half of the song. I don't think this should have been a chorus. I think this could have just had the one time. Maybe just have XOC straight say it over no real significant drum noises. To really like drive the point home. I think that would have improved the song. But I think this is better for me than the first round. It lets me appreciate XOC's skill. And so yeah, I think that was a good track overall. I would probably give it a 7 or an 8. It doesn't really have I don't really love the hook, so probably a 7.
Word. Celine had mentioned Whisper Hook would have been more appropriate, and I agree.
Whisper Hook, maybe. I'd have to hear it mixed out.
This was rated at a 9.2.
That is way too high. I think a lot of that has to do with the theme, which is real hard hitting.
Yeah.
And that makes you want to rate it high. But I have to listen to it as like a song, not a theme. If it had been an 8 out of 10, and I hadn't considered the theme, then that would have bumped it to a 9. But even in considering the theme, because the chorus isn't strong, and because there's not a lot of evolution on the drums in a way that really hits hard, they kind of just sort of stay out of the vocalist way, but like they didn't hug, they didn't lift up the vocals a lot. I think, I think 7 out of 10 is what I want to give this. And so I think it's a little high on the audience. But good work, better work. We all remember Milk Plus is always, and XOC is always a dangerous team where they could flip a 10 out of 10 song at you at any moment. And so I'm excited for them for round 3.
All right, good job.
Young Sullivan Visitor.
So Young Sullivan is LLYZ, Lils, and then Young Sullivan
Yeah.
is the producer.
This verse delivery is a little stilted. There's too much space in the words. I like this because it's a great tie-in. This is a fun thing for the competition and arguably earns you some slack. The chorus on this is hard bad. There's not enough swagger in the voice to deliver something this slow.
You're already here, Ghost. You might as well.
Doing the modification on this is okay, but the rest of the beat doesn't match the doom tone of the Ghost in a way where it's bigger or louder or more dangerous, which means that it seems tacked on a little bit more so than I think it is. I think the lyricism here is pretty okay. It's not about that. I just think that there's not enough energy in the vocals.
That was my...
It almost sounds like he's like quietly delivering it because he doesn't want to make too much noise.
Oh, word.
Or like maybe he's just rapping it to himself in the car.
Yeah, I think that was my main critique.
Right.
Was that this could have used more,
I guess I gotta
more energy in the
fulfill my oath
delivery.
to.
So I like this
You gotta
part.
hold your penis out of the way.
because it's a great, again, it's a great tie-in to what the song is, and a great tie-in to the community. This would not work in not this competition this year for people listening to all the songs and paying attention.
Yeah.
But it works in this way, and it's a real clever trick.
Jesus fucking Christ, I can't believe.
I feel like you have more energy though in the skit than you did in the delivery of the verse. So
not everybody can change what goes on in their life.
take that what you will. It definitely hurts the song. It makes me so without this part, without kind of the clever theming, I probably would have given this a 4 out of 10. I might give it a 5 or a 6, maybe a 6. What's it got from the gallery?
Okay, let's see here. The people have given this a 7.18 out of 10.
I think that again has a lot to do with the theme of it.
Yeah.
How it connects and the fun ending of it. But yeah, it's a 5 out of 10. If you listen to it in a vacuum, it's definitely a 5 out of 10. All right, we're at the final track again. ZeroCool. This is Project Zero and the MC is
Coolzy and Project
Coolzy,
Zero.
of course. And this is House of Zero.
Zero is good.
This is a very old school style song because it's just the idea of like a night or a day event in the life of ZeroCool as he interacts with Project Zero.
Project Zero. Well,
after several years of listening to Project Zero, I really enjoyed what he did with this beat. I feel like Project Zero, between last round and this round, has really, like they should, has gotten better as a producer over the years. And I think it shows in VPC 6 a lot. ZeroCool's delivering a very kind of like talky, explanatory storytelling rhyme. I think what's interesting about this track is they managed to do enough with the interlude here and the conversation to allow the MC to kind of rap in the same easiness, first verse to second verse, without it becoming super tired. I do notice it in the second verse, where I want there to be a bigger tricks. But it's not incapable. And it's not irritating. I don't find it exhausting enough. So like, especially if I was already a fan of this like group, this would be like a really fun song. I am.
Yeah, the narrative is great.
The narrative's fun. I like how it ends too. Like this kind of like closure course is really enjoyable, and of course it comes up in energy like it should. And then it ends with the thunderstorm. It's a good way to end the track. In my mind, this is actually a 7 or an 8. It's like I'm thinking I'd probably give this an 8.
Yeah, this is an 8.2.
Yeah, I think this is an 8. I think it's good. With my complaints on the second verse aside, I don't think that hurts the track so much that it's like, oh, I don't want to listen to the song again. I do want to listen to the song again. I would love to see this ridiculous song performed live on a stage. It would be fun. And they kind of have the In the Air Tonight Phil Collins tease with it. Once you've heard it once, you know that end part is coming, and it gets kind of amped up a bit, and the reveal is there, and that's the part you're going to remember, and so you're kind of like waiting for it to come, for that the In the Air Tonight drums to come, and the song to really open up a bit more, and that's what's happening with this.
Yeah.
So 8 out of 10. And a great way to end round 2 of the VPC.
Yeah, good job.
Closing thoughts. I think this VPC overall was simultaneously stronger and more difficult than the first round. It was more difficult in the way that doing Halloween tracks are like very niche. Holiday-specific tracks or horror-themed tracks are very like a specific category, so it makes the songs less applicable to general listening. But I think there was overall a better there was a higher floor average of people working. I think mixes were better this round. I think everyone can hear that. I think a lot of people put more effort into what they were putting together, and I was surprisingly not wholly bored by thinking constantly this beat again, you know, considering everybody's working off the same sample pack. So good work there. On the flip side, I think that y'all let story rapping, like a lot of you let story rapping make you think, oh, that means this doesn't have to be a standard song structure. And that is absolutely wrong when you're having to power through 38 tracks. 38 tracks is still about 3 albums worth of music. It's 3 albums worth of music. 38 tracks is 3 albums worth of music. You cannot not have hooks on that when you're being compared to other people that are going to do it. If not hooks, massive change-ups, all that stuff. So don't let just being able to tell a story from day 1 to day 3 or earlier in the afternoon to midnight or over a period of time let you think that doesn't mean that you still have to have hooks, you still have to have choruses, you still have to have good interludes, good bridges. All that standard pop songwriting stuff still applies. You just got to put a story in it, and that is key. But yeah, it was a stronger round than I thought it was going to be. A lot more retention than I thought there was going to be. And the competition is still hot. Early call out Songbotco for winner. Winner of my heart. First place in my world. Yeah, and so thank you very much for watching these videos, joining us on Shubzilla's live stream. And we're going to we're gonna head out and see you next round. Except Shubs might be on tour next round. I don't know when the next round is due, but I think he might be on tour.
No,
You'll be here. Okay.
Yeah, I should be here.
Okay. But yeah, thanks for watching 2 Yoked Press.